G'day guys, Chris Redondo here, RYCO 24/7 Ingleburn. Today we are going to have a quick chat about our RYCS10 cut-off saw. So if you watched one of our previous videos on the RYCS10, we're going through crimping a hose onto a already cut piece of hydraulic hose. Now that's all well and fine, you can make your own assemblies on site, but you really need to think about how you're cutting your hose. So it has, in some cases, 4 or 6 strands of wire inside a piece of hydraulic hose. This particular hose is a 2-wire hose, so it has 2 layers of steel. So you're not going to be cutting that with, you know, a hacksaw or anything like that. It needs to be a clean break. And one of the other things that does seem to get overlooked is the contamination or debris when you're cutting the hose. So if you decide, okay, I can just cut it with a grinder, well that's fine, you'll get a nice clean straight cut. But as you know, with grinding, you're going to get lots of bits of metal and rubber and the stuff that the disc is actually cutting inside the hose, which is no good for hydraulic systems. So you're then adding another process to the mix, which is, you know, shot cleaning or making sure you've cleaned out the hose. And if you don't, then that's just no good at all. So it definitely needs to be cleaned out. And sometimes just blowing air through it doesn't do it. There are cleaning systems, there's pellet style guns and everything you can do, but we recommend using a proper designed hydraulic hose cut-off saw. So something like this, I mean, RYCO aren't the only ones making cut-off saws. There are other manufacturers on the market. We're obviously talking about the RYCO one here today, but just make sure you're taking into consideration how you're cutting your hose if you're making your own hoses. So this particular cut-off saw is a new design from RYCO. It's a fully enclosed unit, as you can see. As you push and cut, it will expose the blade through that gap. Another thing to consider as well when you're cutting rubber is it actually gives off toxic fumes as well. So you need to, if you're only doing 1 or 2, you'd probably get away with it, you know, 1 or 2 a day. If you're doing multiple hose assemblies, you know, 20, 50, 100 hose assemblies, this has the option, if you come around the back here, you can put a fume extraction or dust extraction, whatever you want to call it, and vent that out to atmosphere or ventilation, filtration, whatever you want to do to that. So if you come over here, sorry, if you just come back here, you'll see there's a little door here. So when you're cutting hydraulic hoses, you can get a lot of debris and stuff over time build up. So just a nice, easy, neat little door. It'll catch it all in there. You just clean that out and slide it back in. We have an E-stop over here. So whenever we're doing any sort of maintenance or anything on this machine, don't just rely on this E-stop, unplug it from power, make sure you can see the end of the lead if you're working on it, so no one can come along and bump it, or you can't run this blade or put power here when we're doing any sort of maintenance, especially like cleaning out the debris from the bottom of that tray there. Okay, so first things first, safety glasses. Always wear safety glasses when we're cutting hoses. Okay, so we'll make a couple of cuts in here. I'll do the first one quite slow, and then I'll do the second one with a little bit more speed. So we have a piece of T5000 or T50016, so it's a 3/8 2-wire compact style hose, this one. So very standard type hose, as you can see. These posts we can adjust depending on the flexibility of our hose. So if we have a big multi-spiral type hose, we're going to need these stops out here because we can't bend a multi-spiral hose into the blade with the 2 stops here. We need to have more of a bend radius, so that's why these stops you are able to move the position. But for something like a 3/8 hose, we'll be moving them right into the smallest. 1/4 and 3/8 will be here, possibly even 1/2 inch, I think. I'm not sure about that, but you probably do 1/2 inch over here as well. So we'll do something like that. So we've got our mark. We might do a mark length. I'll grab my pen here. We'll just say we want to cut it here. We've got a mark there. So we'll line it. I can see the center of the blade there. And I'm winding up my hose before I even turn it on, and the blade is on that mark. I'm happy with that. I'll take it off there a little bit. Still applying pressure to the hose. I want to make sure that the hose is square. So whether you push it down, I have seen people like to hold it back like this as well. Even hold it back like this, which is okay as long as you're holding it square and it's obviously on the mark that you need to. So for today we might just hold it this way on our mark so it's nice and square. What I'm saying by square is we don't want a wonky cut on the end of the hose. It needs to be square to the side of the hose. So we'll come down and we'll turn our blade on, let it get up to speed, and then we'll make the cut. As you can see there, nice clean cut. It's a brand new machine, so blade's very sharp. There's pretty much no debris in there at all. Like, having a look, I don't know if you can see it in there with the camera, but it is nice and clean. If we were to cut that with a grinder or a cutting disc, there would be lots of debris inside that hose. So that's the main, probably one of the main advantages, as well as being a lot safer, of using a hydraulic cut-off saw, is nice, clean, and square. You can see that, nice and square. Okay. Now I'll do a quick one now. So back here, I'll do it the other way. I won't hold it around. I'll just leave it there. For testing or demonstration purposes, won't worry about a mark on this one, but we'll leave it there. Come here, go square to the bottom, touching here, touching here. Hands are away, right away, blades covered. Nice and square. Now what I'm going to do is do a demonstration of a wonky one. So what I mean by wonky, technical term. So that is a bad cut, and that's what I mean by square, having the hose square. So as you can see, there's an angle, and what will happen then is when the hose end gets pushed on, only one side of here is going to be pushed up hard against the hose, and there's going to be a big gap on this side, which is going to allow oil and stuff to sit around the top here and could cause premature failure or hose failure if crimped onto a hose like that. So if you see that on the end, after you've cut a hose, cut it again or get another bit of hose and make sure it's cut nice and square like that. Okay, if you've got any questions, we do have some other options for cut-off saws. This one is a workshop bench type cut-off saw, designed to be put together with something like our RY32C over here, crimper on a base, so they'll be set up on a bench, probably at either end of the bench with your hose reel somewhere in a convenient spot. We also have 12 and 24 volt hydraulic hose cut-off saws as well that are available, and RYCO also have another design, which if you go through our crimper brochure you will see. But we quite like this one just for its size and easy maintenance and access to the blade. We quite like this one. We use one of these here in our facility. So yeah, if you have any questions on hose cut-off saws or any other crimping or hose manufacturing equipment, give us a call or visit our website at rycohosesouthwest.com.au. We have a crimper brochure on there available to download. All our crimping equipment is on there. For any pricing or availability, just give one of our sales team a buzz or send us an email. Thank you. See you next time.